Hi everyone. I just filmed something and it was super long, and I'm not here to waste your time, so I'm gonna try and do this again. And I set a timer on my phone for 10 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Hi. Long time no see. I guess quick update, even though I'm not super famous and you're not asking for it. I'm okay. I hope you're okay. I gave in my dissertation today. I have the front page here actually. One thing I wanted to talk about was oh my god, I forgot the word for it. Apathy. Long story short, I noticed that when I have certain academic achievements, I don't really feel much towards them, like GCSE results, A-level results, and now handing in this dissertation, which I don't know, I don't want to go too far in depth into this, but it took a lot out of me, and I really can say that I tried my best for this. So yeah, a lot happened in the process, and I'm grateful for, some of the support I've been receiving from people, which sounds so medical, but it's not like that. It's just people checking up on me, and certain people in particular. I'm grateful for that, and obviously they know who they are. But I've done that now, and I wish I felt more. I gave it in, it was slightly anticlimactic, and I guess I'm trying to think of it more consciously so that I have some sort of memory trigger. So in the future, when I need motivation, I can think back to this moment and remind myself that I did something that really was impossible or felt impossible. And to be honest, this degree, being here at Oxford, so many times I felt like I just couldn't do something. I really, really, genuinely just, didn't think I could do it. But then you just don't have a choice and you have to do it anyway. So I know I'm a glass half full kind of person, but this isn't really the case this time. I'm not trying to be motivating and be like, yeah, you can do it, even when you think you can't do it, you actually can, and it's inside you. It's more it's kind of sad because you don't think you can, but you just don't have a choice and you just have to pull through. And I've done that so many times, so I'm actually proud of myself for that as well. And there's so many times where my schedule is busy in terms of classes, but then extracurricular or social things, I'm proud of how I've always managed to keep going with those things, even though I have so much going on or I'm just drained. But anyways, this is not meant to be a self-praise session. I actually have some things to talk about. Second thing is I wanted to talk about the New Zealand attacks. Well, attack. I said plural last time as well. Obviously, you saw from the title. I am really sad about this. But when I first heard about it, I saw an article in the news and I saw the number, 40 people had died. And I was sad, but it didn't break my heart like it did later on, where I heard more about the personal stories and I heard about people who I know who were actually affected by this directly. And what does that tell you? I think that tells you that I've become desensitized, and I thought, is this just me? I must be a terrible person. But on Instagram, I saw other friends of mine saying similar things, and that actually made me so sad because the people I mentioned are also British Muslims. So I think, at least speaking for our experience, Islamophobia is somewhat normalised here. I'm not saying when you walk down the street as a visually presenting Muslim, with a headscarf or whatever, you'll receive Islamophobic abuse or whatever. It's not the case. But Islamophobia exists and we're aware of it. And attacks happen and it becomes normalised. And I think the way that the media paints Muslims just perpetuates negative stereotypes, which, I don't know, fuels far-right sentiments, causes attacks like this. The cycle continues and then we become desensitized. And it's really sad because, similar to the first point I made about my dissertation actually, we need to be more conscious about things. I'm trying to think of an active solution here because I noticed if this keeps happening, we're going to keep seeing attacks, because I'm not going to say that they're going to stop. They're not going to stop, okay? Since this attack has happened, in just a week, we've seen so many attacks in so many places. I didn't even bother sharing them online because I feel it's just a bit overwhelming and it's too much. 5 mosques in Birmingham were attacked with hammers. A man jumped again with a hammer on top of someone's car on Cannon Street, London. And I saw live footage of that because someone happened to capture it from their window as it was happening. It's not something I wanted to see, but they got it. What else? I think some things in Scotland. Other places, basically. I don't want to share false information, but a lot's been happening, and I think it's safe to say that it's linked to this New Zealand attack because, I don't know, it gives closeted bad people a chance, I guess, to exert their views using physical violence. But yeah, if we keep seeing these attacks, we do become desensitized to it. And I get it. It takes up a lot of mental energy. It's very draining as a Muslim, especially. Obviously as a human being, but as a Muslim especially, it's very draining to see these things in the news all the time and always have an emotional connection. So I guess subconsciously, I respect our brains for just disconnecting a little bit, because that's safer for us and it gives us less strain. But I think we need to step back for a second and just recognize the fact that these numbers that we see, the numbers of people being attacked, the numbers of people dying, 51 people dying in New Zealand, it might just seem like a number. And I'm not directing this at anyone, because I recognize this with myself as well. Like, sometimes we see these articles and we just see a number and it doesn't really sink in. But let's just take a moment right now, you and I, and just recognize what that actually means. 51 people means that 51 people lost their life. That's not even including the people who were injured, but that's 51 people who lost their life. They're not here anymore. Whatever they had going on is just in their life is, it's over. That affects their family, their friends, anybody who knew them, had heard of them. It has a ripple effect. As I said, I know people who are personally affected by this, and they're in the UK, so it crosses borders. And yeah, I'm not going to go on explaining the obvious here, but I think that's kind of what we need to do. We need to consciously, maybe just in our minds, point out the obvious, because if we don't do that, these things just become numbers when, they're not. There's so much more. We're talking about human lives, and it baffles my mind that it's come to this stage where, it's just a number, because it's not. They deserve so much more than to just be seen as a number, and starting from myself, I want to change that. Anyways, that's one thing. I think I'm doing good for time this time. This is good. I talked about more in the other videos that I filmed earlier on, but just before this. But anyways, another thing, a side note, some friends were telling me that I should make podcasts, which I kind of did consider because more people told me about it. But I want to know, if you are actually listening to this video, let me know if you would be interested in that, and maybe I'll do that next year when I'm more free. Because to be honest, there's so many times where I'll be talking about something and it just turns into this really deep conversation, with friends, about random things or actually deep things. And it can be very insightful and interesting. But obviously, it's just in a personal moment with someone, it's not recorded. And then later on, I'm like, oh, I wish I recorded that, or I should record that, or I should record something similar. But then when the camera's on, I just can't. And maybe you can tell, but I know that I'm not camera shy, so it kind of confuses me. And I'm trying to work on that. But if you're interested, then maybe I'll make a podcast at some point. Anyways, back to the topic. So we need to combat desensitization towards attacks like this. Not even just Islamophobic attacks, just attacks in the world. I don't want to broaden it too much because, we need to kind of think glass half full. There is a lot of bad things happening in the world, but there's a lot of good things as well. And for instance, I really respect how New Zealand has been responding to this incident. One thing that might seem like a very small example, because there's actually very many positive examples to give, not just in New Zealand, but non-Muslims guarding mosques while people pray. I think that's really sweet. But the example I was going to give is that the New Zealand print newspaper, a week after the attack, the cover page of their newspaper was just salam in Arabic, which means peace be upon you, and it's the way that Muslims greet each other. Then it had the English translation underneath, and at the bottom of the page it had the names of the victims who passed away. And that was so simple, and my alarm just went off. Cool, thank you. You may leave now. I'll try and wrap this up very quickly. It was very simple but effective, and I think that's beautiful. So yeah, we do have positive things going on, a lot of support, people are coming together. I think this incident really did shake the world a bit. The levels of it, I just remember now, it was live streamed. That says a lot about our generation. So God. and I think a lot of people are coming together because of this, and that's good. And we're noticing things like double standards in the media. People are calling that out more, and even though all of this is happening, it still hasn't even hit me, like, the extent to which this attack was like a big deal. That did not come out right, but like, do you get what I mean? But yeah, so we need to be more conscious. Lastly, my friend recently said to me, when I shared, I guess, 3 articles to do with Islamophobic attacks within the space of like a day or 2. The first one was when the news of the New Zealand attack was first released, and at the time it was only 40 people who had passed away. I shared that. Then I shared the Australian senator's statement, which, if you haven't seen, take a look, because when I saw it, the first line I was like, oh, that's really nice. Second line, I thought I misread something. And third line, I was like, this has to be a joke. But it's not a joke, it's real. And you need to read that. And then I posted the Cannon Street attack on my Facebook, and I captioned it like, tell me this is a sick joke. My friend said when they saw that, they were like, why did I post that? And long story short, their reasoning was that they were scared that people who don't know me too well, who are just friends with me on Facebook but not really friends with me, would typecast me as that Muslim who just posts things to do with like Islamophobia and Muslim content, I guess. And I guess for a moment, like, I was conscious about it, which is why I haven't been sharing all these things like the attacks that happened in Birmingham and in Scotland and all these other places because of what they said. But then it's not even just that, because I personally am conscious of these things, not because I don't want to be that person. It's more because I don't like it when things are shoved down my throat, so I don't want to do that to other people. And I'm not saying that's what it's like if you do share things. It's just my personal take. I just don't want to do that. I think I do activism in my own way, but I don't really like that whole social justice warrior being super woke thing. Yeah, so that's not really my style. But upon reflection, because I haven't been thinking about this much, I've been trying not to think about the New Zealand attacks because my dissertation was eating my mind, because non-Muslims were messaging me with words of support, asking me how I was, hoping I was okay. Somebody commented saying, as an ally, what can they do to support? And I said I would try and think about it and come back to them, maybe in a blog post after my dissertation, so I might still do that if I can. Although there's not much I can really offer, but I'll try and think about it. For now, though, if you wanted to, you can just donate to charities who are giving money to the families and, yeah, families of the victims. But yeah, just to wrap up, I think the whole typecasting thing, although initially, like, yes, I was affected by those words and I was like, okay, cool, I was conscious of it and I didn't really want to be seen like that. When it comes down to the important things, like, it's not that big of a deal. If people want to label me as that person who just shares posts to do with, like, Muslims or whatever, which isn't true, by the way, then fine. If they don't have the time to get to know me beyond what I post online, then that's fine. Because maybe some of you guys as well, you just see me as somebody who posts things on Instagram all the time. But what you don't know is I actually don't really like social media. I don't know. It's a weird one. I won't get into that right now. But that's fine. Maybe you just don't have the time, and that's cool. You don't have the time to get to know everybody. I'm not salty about that. But I think it's the least we can do, because going back to the thing that we need to desensitize ourselves, we need to honor these victims. I mean, like, obviously you have no moral obligation, but they lost their lives. What are we losing? Like, a little bit of our pride, a little bit of our online reputation by being seen by a few people as that person. To be honest, that's insignificant to me. When you boil it down to the important things, they lost their lives. I don't mind losing a bit of my pride, even though it doesn't affect me like that. I think it's more important to spread awareness, and if you lose a bit in the process, like, you know, obviously it depends what you're losing, but it's not that big of a deal. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking now. I really didn't want to waste your time. I hope I haven't done that. Hope you're having a good day. I'm not sure if I'll post this today. It's the 22nd of March, by the way. I'm going home tomorrow. Yeah, it's my birthday very soon, 1st of April. What else? I actually have some videos lined up. I've had one that was edited like a few months ago. It's a very fun video, but I've just been waiting for the right time to post it. And let me know if you have any videos that you want me to make, anything that you want me to talk about. Should I make a podcast? What would I even call it? If you want to share your thoughts on what I talked about, then please do, but be mindful, I guess. If I see things that are not so mindful, I believe in free speech, but yeah, maybe just don't do that. Anyways, see you. Oh, one more thing, because I just saw these and it reminded me. My friend got me flowers for giving in my dissertation. There was a vigil today held at Christchurch College, Oxford, because Christchurch's hat, it just felt fitting. And what that event was is just like an hour just honouring the memory of the victims and giving a single flower if you wanted to. And I didn't go because I haven't slept in a whole day, and I guess my body wasn't letting me. I was writing the whole of yesterday. It wasn't even just an all-nighter, it was writing. But anyways, but then I felt bad about not going, and my friend and I held like a mini vigil in their room where we just held hands and prayed for a while, and that was really nice and partially gave me the push to make this video. So yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to tell you that. But anyways, yeah, hope you're having a good day. Good luck, world, I guess. Be kind to each other, and bye.